Raghib Asfahani in his Mufradatul Quran, he said that there are many ways of showing sabr. So sabr at the moment of some kind of pandemic, some kind of hardship, so that moment, opposite to it, just crying, just complaining. And if you are in the moment of war and you are facing the situation without losing your patience, without, for example, retreating or run away, so it is shuja', the bravery. And opposite to is, for example, a person who is not facing the challenge. And if some kind of something you got, some news about some person, and you can spread it, but you hold it, you don't spread and you hide yourself with these things. So it is called kitman. You are just like preserving the secret of people. And this is also, so sabr is actually three levels of sabr. One sabr is shared by all, believers, non-believers, anyone. This is as-sabru inda al-musibah. If something happened and you are planning something and you failed or you are not achieving it, or you are expecting something opposite to something happen, so what will happen? Crying, or even, for example, complaining. So it is one sabr which is needed to survive in this life, because everything is not according to our planning or our choice and so on. And the second sabr is, it is related to Islam or Muslims, as-sabru inda ta'a, ala ta'a. And when we are asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do good things, ibadat, good deeds, so sometimes it is against our own desire, our own choices, but we hold it. We don't, for example, the time of salawat, the time of duties and so on. So constant on ibadat or obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also sabr. The third sabr is as-sabr fi ijtinab al-ma'siyah. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to be at distance with some bad things, evil things, and we have a temptation in it. Sometimes our nafs is pushing for it. So we resist it, right? And we avoid it. So it is also sabr. So the quality of sabr, mostly in our understanding, it is a passive things. Passive. And when we have no any way, for example, to achieve our thing, we say, okay, we did sabr. So the last thing, not the first thing. In Islam, the sabr is a very positive quality, and it's supposed to be our prime, way, for example, to live with it. A lady, when she lost her baby or boy, so she was in graveyard and she was crying. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by chance, he was passing by and he saw her in this position. So as just like a good advice, he said, be passionate. And this lady, she was focused on this issue and didn't see who is talking. So she said, you don't know my pen. You know what happened with me? Rasulullah just he left her without commenting anything. But someone noticed it. So he said, who was this? He said, who? He was a Rasul. So now this lady have two problems now, two pens. One problem of pen, lost her baby. The second pen, now if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam become angry with me, I lost everything. So she left and then she came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she said, sorry, this happened so and so. But Rasulullah said nothing, but he said very good word. He said, "As-sabru 'inda sadmatil ula." And when you have a kind of calamity, any kind of thing, little or big, and you are passionate, this is the true sabr. And just imagine, suppose, for example, I lost something. I'm crying, complaining, blaming this and that. And at the end said, okay, now it is gone. I said, I did sabr. No, it is not sabr. Right? So sabr is very positive quality, especially if we are living in this dunya with some fundamentals, some principles. A person who is going with tide, right? Tide. Anywhere water is taking, he is going there, right? Going. But the person who has some kind of, destination, something to do it, he will resist. And this sabr in Islam considered half of our ibadah. Half ibadah is shukr and half ibadah is sabr. Right? This is the half and half. So in that way, a person, whatever situation happened, the test is how I handle it, how I live at that time. It is the moment which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to test us and want to grade believers according to it. So I just read some hadith. عن أبي يحيى صهيب بن سنان رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عجبا لأمر المؤمن إن أمره كله له خير وليس ذلك لأحد إلا للمؤمن إن أصابته سراء شكر فكان خيرا له وإن أصابته ضراء صبر فكان خيرا له. The believer's situation is very, very unique. And every situation happened to this person, moment, khair, converted to khair. And this is only to believer. So some believer, if the person has some kind of calamity, some kind of difficulty and problem, and he got good thing, good news, a good kind of thing, achievement, so he become thankful, grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is khair. If got the person some kind of bad situation, any kind of damage or any kind of something which is not, for example, fulfilling his desire, but he did sabr, so it is khair. This is Muslim's report. One very strange story, I think many of you heard about it. The story in Bani Israel, there is a king. And one of the conventional system of ruling to control people, right, and to dictate. But the hidden part of this control is to use some kind of, you can say, extra human powers to show that I have some blessed kind of thing, right? I'm above the human thing. So they use magicians, they use some fortune tellers, they use some kind of these things, and they just like personify this person in a very superhuman. This is happening in our time as well. People, they have this standard, but when you pump them, below them, they become just like a whole balloon, right? So this person has a magician. This magician become old. So he said, now I need someone to train him. So send me. So one boy was selected. So this situation happened very strange. He was going to learn magic, but when he was going in his way, one monk has some kind, they have isolated place, they said they don't talk, but if someone visit, they advise them something, they treat them. So he noticed that this person is very different from all others. So he started learning with him, and he was really impressed. So sometime it happened that when he go to magician, he was late. The magician beat him. So he went to Rahib, monk, he said, what I do? So he said, when you go to magician late, so you say, my actually family gave me something, I was busy and so on. And when your family they say, my magician owed me something. So you don't disclose my connection with you. What happened, one time he was just walking, so he noticed that on the road, there's a road, and one huge kind of giant, something very huge animal or something was just like, blocking the road. So he said, today I will test who is true, magician or this monk. And magician taught him, when you do something, say with the name of Allah. Bismillah, right, like Bismillah. So he took a pebble and he said, Bismillah, or he said that with the name of this Rahib, with the name of Lord of this Rahib, Rabbu Hazar Rahib. So what happened, this pebble just like killed this animal, and people become, happy. And he informed monk. He said, it happened with me. He said, you know what? You are now better than me. How? Many times we talk about something, we say this is reward, this is Jannah, this is this thing. But suppose if someone visited Jannah, so his iman will be very different from the person who is just talking about it. So what he said? He said, if someone asks you how you did it, don't name me. Don't, otherwise people will, punish me or whatever they say. So he was, what happened, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him ability that he cure leper, blind people and so on. One time a courtier of king heard, and he was blind man. So he heard and he visited him. He said, can you cure me? He said, I can cure, but there is a condition. He said, what? He said, you have to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you say with the name of Allah, I am asking, then no problem. So, in amanta billahi da'ut. If you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will do dua for you. So he cured. Next day when he was in presence of king, he saw this person is looking, his eyes are back. So he said, what happened? So he said, one person cured me and Allah cured me. So he said, is there any God except me? I am God. Who is the other God? He said, anyhow, there's a God. So he said, if you don't expose who is this person, I will kill you. So he named the boy. And when the person, so he was also know that this Rahib monk is behind this issue. So he also punished him and killed him. And then he asked, he said, you are best magician now. No, I am not magician. I am just abd, obedient of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am just believing in him. I am just asking you to believe in Allah. So he said, okay, he asked people to take him to mountain and just drop from there. They went there. It just wind happened and then all people fell and he came back. So he said, what happened? I said, Allah saved me. Next day they put him in in a boat and they said, drowned him in water. Nothing happened and he came back. So then he said, you know what, if you want to kill me, I advise you two things. First thing, gather people, invite people to watch me and what happened with me. And second thing is, take a arrow and just say Bismillah, with the name of this boy's Lord, I am shooting you. And it happened. So huge crowd was there, and in front of them, he said, with the name of Lord of this boy, I am, releasing this arrow. So boy was killed, or martyred, you can say. So people, what happened? All people become Muslim. They said, we also believe in the name of this Lord. So the courtier said, you are fearing that this boy will be a problem for you. Now the whole crowd is against you. What you will do? So this is the story which reported in Surah Al-Buruj, Ashabul Ukhdud, right? He make a huge trench filled with fire and said, anyone not go back to original religion or our family religion, I will let him go in fire. أصحاب الأخدود, right? والسماء ذات البروج واليوم الموعود وشاهد ومشهود قتل أصحاب الأخدود. So this story is actually why Imam Nawawi brought this story here under Sabr, to say that how this boy, one boy, against the whole society, against the king, against all these things, and his belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so strong, nothing can shake him. This is actually the zarra of Iman. Zarra, the tiny part of Iman, is enough to face any kind of darkness, right? And this is what we must know, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He honored us, blessed us with Iman, we ask to survive with zarra of Iman, or we want to increase it, right? We want to increase. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Al-Imanu yazidu wa yanqus. So another hadith, ما يصيب المسلم إذا أبو هريرة reported من نصب ولا وصب ولا هم ولا حزن ولا أذى ولا غم حتى الشوكة يشاكها إلا كفر الله بها من خطاياه. Mu'min's situation is that any pain, any sickness, any hurting thing, any kind of bad feeling, any kind of sorrowful situation, or any kind of teasing thing, or any bad news, anything happened to Muslim, even the thorn, if some thorny thing touched the person, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make kafara from the whatever we have as shortcomings and so on. And this is actually very important, that in our lifetime, our situation are three. The first situation is that we are human, we commit sins, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala don't want to punish us in akhirah. So He makes some kind of, something, we lose some money, we lose some kind of these things, and it become our kafara. The second issue is happen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to see some believers in a good position of Jannah, but his amal is not qualifying, letting him to qualify, right? Just imagine, suppose for example you have a test and number is not going to passing mark. So teacher say, okay, I give you a project, do it, I will increase your number or something. So some kind of bad thing happen, so this position will be achieved by this kind of extra points, which is not based on amal, based on blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Third thing is also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to see someone to prove that this person is really committed to Islam, committed to Iman. He is not, for example, one time here, one time there. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. Some people are on the verge of mount, rock. Their side is this side. When the benefit is here, they go this side. Benefit is there, they go other side. But they are committed, right? So in that sense, he want to test. So in that sense, sabr is one of the, I can say, the greatest package of Islam. When we say, Allah, we believe in you, we say, Allah, we want to be very painless, any kind of problem, we don't want anything. No, it is the thing. But the issue is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is converting everything by reward. So another hadith which أنس عن أنس رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يتمنين أحدكم الموت لضر أصابه فإن كان لابد فاعلا فليقل اللهم أحيني ما كانت الحياة خيرا لي وتوفني إذا كانت الوفاة خيرا لي. Reported by Bukhari and Muslim. Nobody should, for example, dream or should ask to death. And it should not be my desire that I should die. I am not surviving. I have nothing. I am not achieving anything. I am hopeless and nobody is supporting me. Anything, and I'm going to die. If someone has some kind of such condition, then the human feeling is going this way, so he should say what? Oh Allah, I give you choice. I let you to decide what is good for me, life or death. What is good for me, then decide for me. This hadith is actually very important in our time, every time but our time, when killing himself become a choice. The law is passed, right? That's a medically assisted death. Why? A person think that my time is over. I cannot. I am nobody supporting me. I am most unfortunate person, and so on. So I kill. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that the death and life is only my authority. Ana al-muhyi wal-mumeet. I am giving life and I am giving death. You cannot decide but your own way that I will do this thing. Right? It is first thing. Second thing is that how, for example, we can say that when I'm losing everything, so I will die, so I will be rest in peace. Islam says, no, it is not rest in peace. Your accountability starts. Your journey of other time when your time opportunity is gone, and now your time of exposing yourself. So it is not a good choice. But really, actually, it is Iman which enlighten a person at the moment of when we have a desperate. Right? This is the moment of Iman. Otherwise, you can see those people who are most fortunate people, but in the moment of darkness, in the moment of thing, they are most, for example, miserable people. So it is the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's thing. So Rasul said, don't ask for this thing. Another hadith which is reported by Anas. عن أنس رضي الله عنه إذا أراد الله بعبده خيرا عجل له العقوبة في الدنيا وإن أراد الله بعبده الشر أمسك عنه بذنبه حتى يوافي به يوم القيامة. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is willing to do khair with someone, so he do something to just forgive it, to clean this person through some kind of some loss of dunya, loss of money, loss of thing. So then in akhirah he will be just like what do you say, green zone, or just like without any kind of checking. If some Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala don't like him, so he delay his, everything what he's doing. But the day of judgment, the result will be very severe, very bad. And then Rasulullah said, Inna izamil jaza'i ma izamil bala. وإن الله تعالى إذا أحب قوما ابتلاهم فمن رضي فله الرضا ومن سخط فله السخط. رواه الترمذي. The greater reward based on greater test. So if someone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him or her, and this person showed passion, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, this abd is pleased with me, so I am pleased with him. The person start crying, complaining, why me only? People most of the time say, it is only me who is suffering. Everyone is enjoying, this is only for me, why me? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when he become angry, I become angry with him. And this is really a very, I can say, every daily thing we can test ourselves in this way, how we react, how the situation happen. So just like Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, if you have a problem and then you are crying, so you got double problem, double musibat. One musibat is touching you, and other musibat you are responding to it, right? So this is one of the greatest achievement of Islamic thing, that how we be. And the other thing which is negative, as I said, the positive thing is there. One of the passive understanding of sabr, just like some people think that, oh Allah, increase my pain, oh Allah, test me more. This is also not good. It is, I am challenging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Harun Rashid, one time, he asked some scholar, Riadul Salih, he said, he was talking about something. He said, so this person said to him, Harun Rashid, suppose if you are thirsty and you are not getting water, how much price you will give for it? He said, half of my kingdom. He said, okay. If you are holding your water and not releasing it, this water, what price you will give? He said, other half. He said, this is your kingdom. This is the value of your whole life. Yani just like people saying that this person has controlling this land, this place, and his, but the value is just like nothing. So in that sense, for example, the issue Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see us that we reflect or we handle the thing. So the most historical events happen when people have a bigger test, but they were passionate and they did something constantly and they got good result. Right? So everything is happening this way, but Iman is bigger. Iman is needing more. And this is what we can say Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was in his early days of prophethood, how he was treated, how he was behaved. So when we see in our time, alhamdulillah, we are blessed, alhamdulillah, from many things. But again, we see that we are here in Canada, so alhamdulillah, there is no pain, there is no problem, there is nothing, everything is enjoyable, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, no, anywhere you will go, there will be some test, right? But what we say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we say, Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-'afwa wal-afiyah, right? Aisha radiallahu anha asked at the night of Qadr, what we will ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he said, the best dua is, oh Allah, don't test me, right? So I'm not inviting anything, but if something happened, then this is the reason why Rasulullah said, La tatamannaw liqa al-adu. Don't say, I can challenge anyone. If you want to, no, don't say this thing. But if something happened, be firm and solid to, for example, face it. So this is real of the beauty of Islam and the beauty of moments, attributes, which is supposed to reflect in sabr. And this is also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, wasabiru, and also advice to others, right? The very shortest surah is what? Wal asr, inna al-insana fi khusr, illa allazina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Why this surah? Imam Shafi said it is, if this surah only revealed, it is enough for a human being to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and take a whole guidelines to survive with him. So sabr means, for example, especially when we are following haqq. So there are three ways to follow haqq. One way is, oh Allah, we don't want to give us some short way to get success. Maybe not every time it's not short road is not available, right? Shortcut is not available. Second thing is that we say, okay, you know what? We can modify haqq. So we make acceptable for everyone. It cannot be achieved. Haqq will be haqq, right? Haqq cannot, one poet said, haqq is, ahad. Haqq's attribute is, it cannot combine with other thing. When the shirk is always combined. If someone believing in two gods, he can believe in three. But the who is believing in one, if he start two, his one is gone, right? So in that sense, for example, sabr this way is a very great unity, and especially in good time and bad time both, especially a good time as well. Because sometimes when we have something, so sometimes we forgot, we are enjoying, so we forgot that it may be turned, maybe go other way, right? So in this way, for example, the Iman actually making us to go this thing, and the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is actually giving us these kind of guidance. So I just conclude with one hadith. عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إنها ستكون بعدي أثرة وأمور تنكرونها قالوا يا رسول الله فما تأمرنا قال تؤدون الحق الذي عليكم وتسألون الله الذي لكم. It's reported by Bukhari and Muslim. He said the time will come when there will be people will be selfish. They will care about their own. They will not sacrifice, right? And something you will note, something happening which is not Islamic, munkarat, or something which is you don't recognize it. So he said, Sahaba said, what you will advise us? He said, be focused on your own duties. Whatever duties is related to you, do it. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what you deserve for it. And this is really a very great advice, because most of the time our standard is very opposite. We say, what is my right? Right? And if someone is not paying, I said, okay, I will do same thing. I will not give you anything. But Islamic standard is we focus on our duties. And you can see, for example, in family life, this kind of situation happened. Husband is crying that my wife is not, wife is saying, and then the situation has become worse and worse. But if the situation changed, that the person taking initiative from his side or her side, and they are focused on this thing, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is written, it will bring for them. But it needs sabr. Sometimes if you plant a seed and you say next day, Allah give me fruit, there's a process, right? So this process is needed to be passionate. So in this way we can do sabr, we can gain from it, and we can come out from all kind of challenges, and it is itself a success of sabr. I think it is enough. Jazakumullahu khairan.